Afternoon. It's great to be here at Florida State at the Al Dunlap practice facility. I knew Al Dunlap. He was a very colorful character, but he was a phenomenal friend of Florida State. I also want to thank President Thrasher for hosting us, Coach Norvell, David Coburn, and then Josh and Keyshawn, our great players who were here, for really just delivering a message which I think is unified across the state. Recently, there were discussions amongst different presidents of different conferences about whether they should just deep six the football season entirely, and that caused a reaction of college players all around the country saying we want to play. And we're here to say from the state of Florida, we want you guys to play. We believe that college athletics, football of course, but not just football. And I know Coach Thrasher has seen me at football games, but he's also seen us at the women's soccer games and the softball games, and they run the gamut here of a whole bunch of great athletics. This is integral to young men and women here at Florida State and across the state of Florida. We were last week talking about the importance of high school sports. We had a Florida State legend who some of you may have heard of, Charlie Ward, talk about not only the importance but the environment that sports provides at a place like Florida State is a safer environment for these kids than what they would have if they didn't have access to this environment. This is like a family. The people that you play with, the coaches, the trainers, administrators, they're looking out for these kids. They want everybody to be safe, not just with respect to coronavirus, but all kinds of health issues that come up in an athletic season. So this is the safest place to be. To take away that season would be short-circuiting the dreams that so many of our student athletes have worked for, in many cases their whole lives. And we have so many student athletes who, if it weren't for the role of sports in their lives growing up, they may not have been able to get to this point where they can get an education. It's been formative in terms of people developing work ethic and character, and we believe that discussions about short-circuiting the season are entirely misplaced, and I support Florida State continuing to play with the season, as I do all the sports throughout the state of Florida. It's very, very important, and I think that if you look at being a part of a program like Florida State, you're going to see, someone like Josh is going to have, he had a lot of options about where to go. He chose Florida State. He obviously has options to play beyond this. And that's important. And people that can make a living at it, God bless them. That's great. But this is a part of really a storied tradition. You look at all the people that have come before who've walked through this university, the people that have been out on Doak Campbell Stadium and played some very important games. You become part of that culture, and that's something that you really just can't replace. And so whether you're somebody who's destined for the NFL or whether you're just somebody who's going to have a productive college career, I think taking that away, I think would do lasting damage. And so we want to make sure that folks know that we value the opportunities for our student athletes in the state of Florida. We discussed a little bit. I asked President Thrasher and Coach about, hey, if some of these other conferences shut down, can we welcome their players to the state of Florida? Not exactly sure how the NCAA rules work on that, but I can tell you, if there's a way, we want you guys to be able to play as well. So I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to support the efforts. The protocols that they have in place are really even above and beyond what I would have even imagined. And I've been doing this stuff since February, day in, day out, across the state in a variety of different contexts. And so this is probably the safest environment these student athletes can be in, not just for coronavirus, but for a whole host of other reasons. And I think they're going to do it the right way. So we appreciate what Florida State means to the state of Florida. And I told the players before, I would much rather be able to watch college football just as a fan. But honestly, it's not about the fans. I would be willing to not watch it all as long as those guys had the opportunity to follow their dreams. And that's really what it's all about, those student athletes who've worked so hard to get to where they are. So So we're going to introduce some of the folks. I think everyone's going to make a few comments. I'll have a little bit of a discussion, and then we're happy to take questions. So President Thrasher, thanks for your leadership. Obviously, we're here to talk about sports, but I'd be remiss if I didn't commend you for Florida State's academic achievements and how far they've improved in the rankings under your leadership. To be ranked even higher than I think we had planned you could get this quickly. So thank you for doing that, and we look for great things to come.
Thank you, Governor, and thank you for your leadership on all those aspects of university life and what we've accomplished, and we appreciate the support that your office has given us. But I particularly want to thank the Governor today for doing this. Let me just be very, very succinct with you all and what we're about. Our players want to play. They want to play because they've been involved in this sport for many, many years. They think we have, as the Governor said, safe protocols in place. They think that we have the right atmosphere to go out and play football. Our coaches want to coach. They came here to coach football. Coach Norvell has got a great game plan together for the season, great game plan for the practices and in terms of safety and all of that. And I think they're both ready to play. We know that we can do it safely, and what we frankly want to send is a message to some of the other schools that may be teetering on whether or not to play football. We think it's in the best interest of our student athletes for us to play football. We can do it safely, and we can do it productively for them, as well as the absolute culture of our university, and certainly this community of Tallahassee. We're ready to do it. I want to be able to go to the president's meeting, the next president's meeting of the ACC presidents, and say, and I will be able to, our governor is behind us, our coaches are behind us, our team is behind us, and let's get ready to play football because we're ready to do it. I think all of these red herrings that are out there that have been talked about, frankly, we've dealt with. We've dealt with for the entire time that we've been getting ready to play football, and we've tried to imagine every single circumstance that could happen, and we think we can do it safely. David Coburn has done a great job of that regard. Our first game is September 12th. We're ready to play. I plan on making sure that our friends in the Atlantic Coast Conference and frankly our friends in other conferences understand that student athletes really do want to play football this year, and we ought to give them that opportunity. So I'm going to turn it over to David.
I just wanted to say thank you to the Governor for this effort. We really appreciate it. We've gone to great lengths to ensure the safety and well-being of our players and our staff. We're very comfortable with where we are. We've had a lot of really good medical advice, both locally and from the conference and nationally, and we're comfortable that we can give this the best shot that can be given. So thank you again, Governor. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for how thoughtful you all have been about this upcoming season. Coach Norvell, we're excited that you're on board here in the state of Florida. Let me just publicly welcome you. I know you've been the coach for a while now, and but we really want to, I think there's a lot of enthusiasm here. I think a lot of people are very excited. I know you got a lot of great talent and a lot of players that really want to play. So thanks for your leadership, and I'll turn it over to you for some comments.
Well, Governor, thank you once again for being here. It means the world to not only our team, our program, our state, but especially these players, because the amount of work, some of the circumstances that they've had to work through over the last 7 or 8 months, it's been challenging. And I tell you, their response has been incredible. I've got to commend President Thrasher, David Coburn, all of our athletic training faculty, everybody that's in place within the medical community that has set up a protocol to keep our guys safe and to be able to provide them with a facility that they can come to every single day and know that they get to follow their dream. They get to live out and continue to build the relationships with their teammates to play the game that they love. Every student athlete that we have here came to be able to play the game at an elite level, but also to get an incredible education. And within this family, we are bringing that all-inclusive approach. And the growth that I've seen from this team it's been truly special. And that's what to be able to respond to some of the adversity that has shown up, to be able to follow protocols, to be able to sacrifice some of the things that you might desire to do at times to make sure that we're doing things the right way, to be able to provide that opportunity. It's been it's been a true joy to watch. And these guys, they're enjoying every aspect of practice. Well, maybe not every aspect of practice. They're enjoying most parts of our practice, but they're excited about the opportunity to continue to follow their dreams and to play this game together, and to be able to represent not only this university, our program, but their families, and to celebrate the journeys that it's taken for them to get here. And so you being here today, your support, your leadership, we're so very grateful for, and so thank you, sir.
Great. Well, we've got a couple of the players here, and we had a chance to visit before. Josh came out of IMG Academy. He's originally from Baltimore, and I was like, who did you decide between Florida State and what other colleges? And he's like, I think pretty much all the colleges were after me back then. So we're glad that you chose Florida State. Had some injuries last year, but he's got a really, really bright future, not only as a Nole, but be able to, with the ability to play at the next level. So Josh, can you tell the folks kind of what the season means to you if you weren't able to play, what effects that would have on just your life, not only as an athlete, but just as a young man?
So me personally, I've been playing football since I was in second grade. Every year it's been school and football, and it's so weird that we're even here having this conversation about potentially not playing. But last year I had a deal with my leg. I got my season taken away from me. The first time I really got football taken away from me. And I've put in so much work day in and day out, even when school didn't open back up and stuff like that. And to get to the point where I'm at right now and to potentially have the season taken away, it would just be heartbreaking.
We also have Keyshawn Helton, joined Florida State out of the Florida Panhandle. He played in Pensacola. Can you talk about what the season would mean to you, not being able to play, and how that would affect you in terms of your development, again, not just as an athlete, but as a young man?
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me, Governor. But for me, as Josh said, I went through a season-ending injury last year. And as he also said, I've been playing football since I was 4 years old. And from day one, out of my injury, I've been preparing myself and been grinding, getting ready for a potential season. And to have a season taken away from me, another year of not playing football, would just be a disappointment.
Can you guys both speak to, some say that there's a fear of if you guys are playing football, that could potentially expose you to the virus. But in terms of just athletes generally, if you take sports away, they're still going to be having contact with folks. They're still going to be doing things, but it's just probably going to be in a less structured environment. Is that how you see it?
Yeah, so here with all the protocols and procedures that are going on, I don't know where it would be safer, because if we're out there and we're just doing our own thing, basically, it's like, accountability, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Accountability. So I think we have all these protocols in place in this, and you trust that your teammates are going to be accountable, handle their business, and follow the protocols and stuff. I think that's our best bet, rather than just having, you send everybody home and you just have no idea, you have no control over what they're doing.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is the safest environment for us. Just being at this facility, Coach Norvell and our athletic trainer Jake has put together some protocols that's the safest for us. You talk about 18 or 22-year-olds just quarantining at their house. That's unrealistic. There's so many other things that guys are going to go do, which is not safe. So being here with my team and all of us together is the safest for us.
Josh, can you talk about? Obviously, you had injuries last year. You're coming here. Obviously, want to have a great season. And then, what are your aspirations beyond Florida State in terms of playing at the next level?
I want to go pro. I want to go pro. So getting hurt last year, and thank God for healing me and allowing me to come back. And I need to play. I need to get some film, so going to tape. And if I don't get that film, it's just so many. It's so gray, such a gray area. So it's like if we don't play, I really don't know. It's too uncertain for me to even say anything,
Coach, can you just talk about, you've obviously been in football a long time. Obviously, the X's and O's and playing, but just on kind of a developmental level, character, discipline. What does that mean to kids to be able to come through a program like that, whether they're going to be a first-round pick or whether they'll never put on the pads again after their final game?
And that's what the greatest thing about the game of football is. It mimics life. And you're being able to count on each other, to be able to be accountable to whatever standards, whatever obligations that you have, whether it's with your family, with your teammates, to a job, to have that daily structure, to have to live up to a certain standard, and then just to continue to improve. And that's our message every single day. I want these guys to be able to go out and be the best version of themselves in all aspects of life. That doesn't mean whether it's raining or whether it's snowing, which, obviously we don't get a whole lot here in Florida, but regardless of what the circumstance is, I mean, go out there and give everything that you have. And don't worry about being on the journey just by yourself, but embrace the relationships, embrace the brothers that you get to be a part of, embrace the leadership that you have, and then just continue to push yourself every day to make sure that you're making the right choices, and then you can go out there and achieve whatever dream, whatever goal, whatever aspiration that these guys want to accomplish. That there are no limits. But it's because they're a part of something that's bigger than themselves, and it's still providing that platform, that opportunity. And I loved hearing these guys talk about the accountability piece, because that's what it is every day. And this provides them with that structure and those relationships on a day-to-day basis.
Which, if they didn't have this to come to, there would not be very much structure available.
That's one of my biggest concerns, is that if the football season is taken away from us, you hear the stories of our young men, and we have 2 guys represented here. I've got another 118 that are sitting in our locker room right now. These guys want to play. They want to be a part of this team. They want to grow together. They know that the protocols that are in place are safe. They know that this is a place that they can come to and continue to develop in all aspects. And, I worry if that's taken away from them, not only what is that going to do to them, mentally, and having to experience more challenges, more setbacks, more things that are taken away from them, but, they are here voluntarily. Because when we came back and had our mandatory workouts, we presented that to our team, to our staff, everybody involved, that the choice is theirs. We're going to provide this for them so that they can come here and feel safe and to be able to grow and develop. And, I'm just so proud of our guys and the way they've handled themselves. And, obviously they're excited about what the future holds, and they want to be a part of this team moving forward this season.
Did you have any players choose not to come back?
We did. We've had 2 players that both had unique situations that they chose to opt out for this season, and I told them I absolutely respect their decision. Developing into a man is about making decisions, right, making choices, and those 2 young men have chose to sit out this year, and as an administration, we are fully supporting them, and obviously they have their scholarship. They're going to continue with their education, but once again, it is a choice. And we have a football team right now that's choosing to want to play. They're wanting to be a part of this program and continue to work for this season.
So if they choose not to participate, given the circumstances, you're still honoring the scholarship, and then they'll have the eligibility next year?
Absolutely. And that was something that was not only with players, but with our staff. Because our staffs, we all have families, and this is an all-inclusive family, and so we all want to be able to be there to support each other's, and it's something that's been really great to see us come closer throughout this circumstance.
Great, John. Whatever you can say just about kind of the state of play in this, because it seemed like people were planning on playing. And then it seemed all of a sudden, right, you started to see all these changes. And the players obviously were voicing. I know the fans have now been more vocal. So what's going on behind the scenes as best you can tell us?
What happened over the weekend, there was a meeting of the commissioners of the 5 big conferences. And 2 of those commissioners expressed some real concerns about continuing to play. And they listed a number of issues. There was one new issue that came out, and that was from a physician apparently that represents the NCAA, about myocarditis and the potential impact that would have as a result of COVID. That seemed to get a lot of attention nationally, and I think it caused a lot of the other conferences to say, let's take a step back, let's review where we are. Our presidents met 2 days ago, and we went through all of that. And the issues that were presented, frankly, none of them we had not considered before. So we did agree, though, that we ought to go and look at the medical aspects again just one more time to make sure our protocols, the other teams' protocols are in place. And we've been doing that, and we'll probably have another meeting this week of the presidents of the ACC. I feel relatively certain that the SEC is aligned with us. They want to play for the same reasons as been outlined by the coach and by the governor and David. They want to play. We think the Big Ten and the Pac-12 probably are vacillating a little bit in some of the schools, but not all of them. And that's one of the reasons we wanted to try to get together. Thank again the governor for taking the leadership on this to see if we can send a message that these schools that are participating and want to play have done it the right way. We've put the protocols in place for medical aspects. We have done everything else we think that we can do to make it a safe environment. And we think we're ready to play. And our coaches want to, as I've said, our coaches want to coach and our players want to play. It's up to us to make sure the environment's safe, and I think we've done that. What we need to do now, though, is send this message to the rest of those schools out there that may be teetering about whether to play or not, and let them know that a university like Florida State University, which I believe is fairly respected in athletics as well as academics, thank you, Governor, I think is ready to play, and I think for the right reasons, and that's the message we want to send.
David, can you just talk a little bit about if some of these conferences don't choose to not play, that may not necessarily bind every school, and so you may have individual schools in some of those conferences be looking for games and could really throw some schedules up in the air and people be scrambling to get games going?
Yeah, it's going to be very hard to tell what's going to happen if some of the schools in some of these conferences that decide not to play wish to continue to play. Obviously, I don't know what their conference bylaws are like, but certainly some of the coaches and athletic directors are indicating that some of them may be looking for games. So it could get very interesting, Governor.
Good. Well, I want to thank the players. Keep working hard, guys. You guys have earned the opportunity to continue to compete. So we're supportive of you, and we're supportive of your aspirations. Coach, we're glad you're here. We want you to be able to compete as well. And I know people are excited to see what's going on. And John, you have our support.
Thank you, sir.
For the state of Florida, as do all our universities. And I know Miami is right there with President Thrasher in terms of wanting the kids to be able to play. And I know Florida, USF, everyone I've talked to has been supportive of that. So we really appreciate putting the kids' opportunities first. And I think when you hear about the protocols, I think for these athletes, the risk is very low, but whatever risk there is, to me, outside of this structured environment, I think the risk goes up. I don't think the risk goes down. With that, we're happy to take some questions for anybody.